Hey there, we're gonna see if we can fit the coronavirus riddle in a video here. Um, man, this one might be the most important one of all, and people just need to know the coronavirus agenda from our perspective. If they take 5 minutes to read or listen to it, it could really turn a lot of heads. Usually start off with there were two simulations. The government apparently likes to simulate things. Um, Clade X, you can look any of these up, and Event 201. How can you have a simulation of something before it even happens and it be legitimate? That doesn't make sense to me. I forget the exact date, maybe March 15th, 2018. That might ring a bell. But Clade X was exactly 666 days before the March 11th pandemic was declared. So imagine the odds of that. That's kind of suspicious, a simulation of a pandemic 666 days prior to. And then Event 201, and there's plenty to discuss on just Event 201. It was held by the World Health Organization and Bill Gates, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and it was another simulation of a pandemic a month before the pandemic was, declared or before it started. Um, First, and to the people who've already heard this stuff, just know that we know you know. This is for new people too. This video is a tool to show people. So I know you've heard this stuff a lot. Event 201 was the same day the military world games began in Wuhan, China, of all places. So you got news about the military games in Wuhan, and you got news about a coronavirus, which ended up, you know, coming out of Wuhan supposedly. That's just more narrative, in my opinion. But so Event 201, October 18th. That's an interesting date because everybody knows about these new Nikes that came out. They only made, what, 666 pair? Or maybe they made 1,018 pair. I forget which one it is. But 1018 is like Luke 1018 in the Bible where it says the devil comes to earth. And so that's kind of interesting, and obviously those two things are synced together. That's a fitting date for Event 201 the simulation to happen. Um, Bill Gates starred in a Netflix documentary called The Next Pandemic, like 2 weeks after Event 201. I mean, we've all heard of predictive programming, and I'm sure all of you listening to this can acknowledge that that kind of looks like predictive programming. But how come people discredit our work? How come people don't care? They don't care, they discredit. I could stop right here, and that should tell you all you need to know, but unfortunately, I got plenty more. So, everything seems to happen on Bill Gates' birthday when it comes down to anything to do with a pandemic or a virus or a movie. The movie Inferno, starring Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks was the first celebrity to come down with the virus. Probably just another coincidence. And he even tweeted us, uh, mocking us with a picture of a Corona typewriter as his picture. You know what I mean? What kind of sense does that make? Why would he even use a Corona typewriter? Oh, because we're in a time of coronavirus. Their little agenda. But then in his tweet, he's telling us, symptoms are about the same. He's just resting and getting better. And at the end of his tweet, he put, and darn it, my wife's leading in gin rummy by 201 points. Kind of like Event 201, huh? Well, Tom Hanks starred in that movie Inferno. This second. He starred in the movie Inferno, which which came out on Bill Gates' birthday. Everything happens on Bill Gates' birthday. So the movie Inferno is about a billionaire advocating for depopulation. Wow, man. That's kind of like Bill Gates. Because anyone can look up that Bill Gates, in his 2010 TED Talk, now look at the year 2010, it's got the number 201 in it, doesn't it? That special number. And we'll get to that. But in 2010 on TED Talk, Bill Gates says that we can depopulate the world and carbon emissions if we use vaccines correctly. That's really all you need to know right there. They were already showing us what they're going to do in 2010. And people think that, okay, maybe we do need to depopulate the world. Maybe global warming and all the trash and there's 5 or 10 reasons they can come up with to let you know that it's okay to depopulate the world. But here's when you read between the lines. It's not to depopulate the world because of any of those reasons. It's all about their new world order. It's about their bloodlines prospering like they already have. All of our lives, all these chosen people, born and bred to be, politicians, celebrities, athletes, Bill Gates, these people have been born and bred to be, and they've already lived a great life. And in their new world order, they want their bloodlines to rule the world. That means they don't want you there, they don't want me there. All these cattle on the ranch out here, that's what we all are. It says it in their Bible. I don't want to get into biblical stuff. I don't try to mix biblical in with, when I teach people this stuff, but it is biblical to the people we're exposing, that's for sure. But, they're using that stuff against us and tricking us and controlling us. So, let me not get off track here. Let me think where I was. Yeah, the movie Inferno. Do you know that movie's 2 hours, 1 minute long? Like Event 201, just like Tom Hanks' wife's winning by 201 points. In Gematria, when you type in William Henry Gates, it equals 201. There's another one for you. That's why it's called Event 201. And 201 Jesuits were once saved in the 1700s by Catherine the Great. So obviously that's why the number 201 is so special to the Jesuits, who are running it all, by the way. Elvis Presley. Let's get into the number 56 a little bit. The 56th governor told us when the coronavirus first happened that 56% of California would get the virus in 8 weeks. The 56th governor. Now 8 weeks is also 56 days. So right there is 3 56s just from the governor opening his mouth. Okay? Now, in Gematria, coronavirus equals 56. See? When how we prove Gematria is used, because people don't believe it, is when we say something equals 56 and then we watch them say the number 56 for 100 times in a row for the months after, and all their news media headlines, and it's always the 56th governor on the 56th day of his age. There's a 5.6 earthquake, or they just contrive the numbers, guys. You see? So the 56th governor said 56% of California would get the coronavirus in 8 weeks or 56 days. And Elvis Presley took the first live vaccine on television in 1956. Now, what a coincidence that is. Now, here's another coincidence for you. On that very day was Bill Gates' first birthday. Oh man, I mean, geez, guys, I'm gonna have to rewind and listen to this one because I brought up so many great points and I got plenty more. I'm 10 minutes into the video and I really hope YouTube lets me get 20 minutes in. Um, so we've shown the 56. Let's show why Event 201 said that there would be um, 65 million people killed. Well, that's real easy. In gematria, coronavirus equals 65. Now, to add to that, because that's what we like to do is build off of it. Did you know Event 201, October 18th, was Melinda Gates' 65th day of her age? And if you think that's a coincidence, which that sounds like it could be a coincidence, the Gates both got married. They got married on Bill's 65th day of his age. Now, back to that little thing on the movie Inferno about a billionaire advocating for depopulation that came out on Bill Gates' birthday. The movie's 2 hours, 1 minute. That's also 121 minutes. Okay? Just like Bill Gates' backyard was the first major case of coronavirus in King County, Seattle. Corona means crown, so it's kind of coincidence that it happens in King County in Bill Gates' backyard where the giant Space Needle has sat all of our lives. You see? Space Needle, symbolism, Seattle, Bill Gates. So that movie's 121 minutes, like that first major case in Seattle was on January 21st, or we write 1/21. I believe the movie Inferno came out 121 days from Tom Hanks' birthday. I could have that one mixed up. I'll double check later. The new coronavirus channel at the time on Sirius XM, channel 121. You followed me? Trump pushed the original lockdown date back to April 30th. It's more narrative, but when we looked at that, we noticed April 30th with leap year was the 121st day of the year. Anybody else want to argue anything? Or is this, maybe you won't get a chance to argue. Maybe this video will be squashed, and 6 people will see it, Me think there's so much to this. There's things like gematria, like the Pope's name equals 201. The Pope moved to dorm 201 at the Vatican during the pandemic. Imagine the odds, Tom Brady threw for 201 yards in the Super Bowl, and we were already exposing that at the time. And then after he won that Super Bowl, months later, on the 201st day of the year, is when he visited the White House to get, congratulated by the president or whatever for a Super Bowl. Isn't that a coincidence? It's on the 201st day of the year, and we've been exposing this number 201 for like 2 years now. And that same day, the 201st day of the year, was when the NBA Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA championship. Milwaukee Bucks, just like the Tampa Bay Bucks, Tom Brady, 201st day of the year. I mean, that stuff like that, man, is so obvious that the dumbest person on earth could still grasp that, so if it wasn't for censorship, maybe we'd be more successful. Just trying to think of other notables. I have this stuff all typed out that nobody reads. Let me light this doob and see if I can think of a couple more. I think I pretty much covered a lot of the key points. World Health Organization equals 121. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation equals 121. It's hard to ignore that stuff. I mean, sure, any word could equal anything, but this stuff's named accordingly, just like we show Aaron Rodgers named accordingly to the 63 scripts that they've done now twice in 3 years. So when they've done something once, that's one thing. We prove it then, and then they do it again, and that's what you'll find in these videos. Very repetitive. It's so repetitive, it's undeniable. So I can't really think of too much more, but when you sum all the stuff up that I'm talking about here, and even look at my post that has it all typed out and more, when you look at the full big picture, this couldn't be nothing but agenda. I mean, some more predictive programming, something I was about to forget, Dr. Creep. Look it up, YouTube, keywords, Dr. Creep, pandemic, lyrics. Type in lyrics so you can even get the lyrics. A minute into his rap song, the exact lyrics say 2020 combined with coronavirus. Bodies stacking. Man. I can't make a rap song and predict what's going to happen in the year 2029. You know what I mean? I mean, let's say I guessed that there was an earthquake and I did a rap song about an earthquake. Am I going to get the exact year and what the exact town that earthquake's in and that it's going to be a 7.4? I'm not going to be able to do that. So how can Dr. Creep make a rap song about pandemics and viruses and nail 2020 combined with coronavirus? There's nothing more to say, guys. This is government planned agenda. Clearly from Bill Gates, since he came out of the womb, obviously. His family and the secret societies around him have planned all of this. That's why coronavirus was coined in 1968, just like the Bushes, coined 9/11, and whoever surrounds the Bushes at the time, they obviously coined 9/11 in 1968. And then, go back and listen to my 9/11 riddle. It's a couple videos down. You'll get all that information. And then 19-year cycles. You have, the war on drugs. And 19 years later was the war on terrorism. Now we got the war on viruses. And it's 19 years from 9/11, just like 19 hijackers, just like COVID-19. There's something to all this, guys. And man, I'd love each city to have 1,000 people band together that all know this knowledge and start confronting the people responsible. Thank you.